So, hello, hello, and here we Godot. Can you imagine if I started every one of these like that? Would that not be crazy? First of all, we're going to do a bug fix really quickly. I'm in main GD. We've been using var place to mean how many spaces we've moved. So I'm going to change this, at least right now, I'm going to change this back to 0. And I think it'll work like what we think it should. I'm going to take you to webcam view real quick so that we can figure out what else we're doing today. Welcome to webcam view. Okay. We have a lot of good and correct things going on. They just don't all work together yet. Sometimes I have to write this out on paper when I do it anyway, but I'm going to write it out for both of our benefits. We need to order of operations. The user clicks, we need to move spot to a space, right? If the space is a question box space, we need to be able to detect that. The space should bring up the question box. The question box should know if the user clicks and if it's a right or wrong answer. And then the question box, like if we get it right, we should get something. Let's say we get a point. Or in pictures, the spot, or the piece, that's kind of what the piece looks like, needs to be able to move to a space. And that space needs to know that it's a question space. And that question space needs to be able to make a question box and that question box needs to know which answer is right and what to do if the answer is right and really what to do if the answer is wrong. This is actually something I really love about game dev. You have to solve all of these little pieces. It's very cool. So we do actually have the piece moving, so I feel okay about that. We actually do kind of know that, even though we don't do anything with this information yet. So I think today we can definitely solve this, and probably we'll solve this too, because these two are pretty interchangeably solvable. Let's go to Godot. All right, the board needs questions. So if you'll look in the Google Drive, if you haven't gotten it already, it kind of depends upon when you access this course, you'll have a new board. If you've already got this board, all you have to do is change the texture or just replace board PNG and Godot will figure it out. I'm going to do that right now, but I'm going to cut because I don't want you to see my files. I'm back. All right. I don't think Nintendo will get too mad. I made the red spaces question spaces. So let's tell them in code that they're question spaces. I'm going to go to script view and I am going to find direction.gd. And I'm going to add a new variable to our enum, and I'm just going to call it question. It is fairly standard in programming to make the enums capital letters. It won't light on fire if you don't. It's just what's usually done. That's all. It wants a comma, so I'll give it a comma. All done. So let's go back into 2D view here for a second. This is a question space. And if we go to direction, it's not there. I fooled with this earlier. It seems like you have to restart Godot to get this back. I don't know of another way to do it. So I'm going to restart Godot and see if I'm right. Hold on. I'm back. Drum roll. Yeah, it worked. I don't know why. We're just going to be thankful that Godot is free software and we're going to keep rolling. So this is a question spot and I want to set it to question and I want to set this one to question too. Nailed it. Okay, let's prove I'm right. Let's prove this works. Go into main. One of the cool things about like having coded some stuff is we can see how we went back and how we went forward. So we can probably just take a wild swing at how we're going to do the question. If game spaces place, we want to talk to the specific place in the game spaces array, dot direction. What does she type next? What does she type next? Double equals. Oh goodness, how do I talk to that? Or how do I talk to that enum? It's up here. If you've forgotten how to do it, then you just copy it. Direction dot. It knows it. Which way? Dot. Oh, it even knows my enums. How nice. Question, please. Just to prove that I'm right and this is working. This part is working. We're just going to throw a print statement in there. Save. What do I want to save or set roll to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. Roll equals 6. Save. Play. And I'll move this so you can see the print statement. If I'm right, then we should see the print statement. I probably should take that 19 out of there. But she's good. She's good. Look at that. Even Godot says this part's working. Crack a boom. So ideally, we don't want the game to print something. We want the game to make a question box fly up, right? So let's talk about this because this is a magic trick that you see in a lot of games. It's not totally weird for any game that you're making that you're going to want something to appear. In programming, that is called instancing something. And in Godot, best practices is you load it, you instance it, you add it, and you position it. Actually, let's talk about the word instance for a second. The verb instance in programming means to make. You make it. We're going to make a question box. The noun instance means this specific question box. Let's make that make some sense. Let's load it first. By the way, this load it, instance it, add it, position it. I got this from Heartbeast tutorials. Go search him because he's really, 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 really good. And I even like this works so well. I have it written on my wall on a little post-it note. So that's how I remember it. I'm going to make myself an extra little variable. Oh my God. Variable called question box. Godot has a function. It's called preload. We're going to use that. And it even knows what I want to do. Let's see if I can find the question box. Crack a boom. So now we've loaded it. It's in memory. We got to instance it, meaning we got to make it. I'm going to make it and shove it into a variable. So we'll just call it the variable question. It doesn't matter that hard in this case. Question equals good old GD script. You type whatever it is you think you're going to do. Question box, talk to the variable and whatever's inside you, instantiate, which is it's a synonym for instance. By the way, if you are coming in from Godot 3.5, it used to be instance. It's not instance anymore. It's instantiate. That cost me like an hour yesterday trying to figure that out. Now we need to add it. We've got it in memory. We've hit instantiate. We have to have it come over to the scene tree and be a little node sitting there looking at us. Uh-oh. The add child function just adds it as a child of main. Very, very simple. Don't think about position for just 1 second. I want to prove something. So load it, instance it, add it. Cool. Hit play. Let's see if the question box comes up. It did. See it up here? To make it even better, like, check this out. If I don't hit X and I just click into Godot, I can come over here into remote, and this shows you everything that's going on, like, during runtime, so while the game is running. So question box is right there. It got instance as a child of main. That's exactly what we told it to do. It just looks crazy because we didn't position it. It works even. I bet I can roll and go again. Oh, I bet it's gonna... Let's see. I'm not going to do math. I'm going to see if the pink piece goes on the question mark. Haha, see? It's working. She's right. She's right. But, like, that looks like that sucks. That completely sucks. Here's how we're going to fix it. There's a couple hundred different ways to fix it, but we're going to do it my way. Add a child node as a child of main. So I've got main highlighted. I click the plus, or you can hit Control A. And I'm going to add what's called a canvas layer. A node used for independent rendering of objects within a 2D scene. God, that's a fancy definition. Canvas layers, like independent rendering. Good night. What does that mean? Have you ever played a game with a HUD? Like any of the Mario games have a HUD, and it kind of moves with the camera. That's what the canvas layer does. It's the HUD. It's the HUD. It doesn't necessarily have to be. We're not really using it as a HUD, but first of all, let me save because you know that little star irritates me. Okay, so here's why we're doing what we're doing. See question box? It is centered using a center container, and there's the middle, right? It's appearing in the corner, hello, because Godot is going, that corner is origin, and it lines up with this origin. Canvas layer is going to help tell Godot, no, we want the center to be the center of the HUD, or it's not really the viewport, but it's going to be the same as the viewport for us. So we're going to instance it instead as a child of canvas layer. We've got to define it. So let's drag it in. You know, I'm bad at this. Ooh, I did it though. And then if we want it to be a child of canvas layer, guess what? It's so simple. All you do is change it to canvas layer dot add child question. Let's run it. Actually, can I run it with the remote tab up? I can. Okay, hold on. Haha. Watch the remote tab while this goes on. And watch the game. Watch two things at once. So it's nice and centered because it's now a child of the canvas layer. It put it in the right spot. And we can do this. We got it right. Some of you might be a little bit nervous because right now this really only asks one question. We'll fix that. Give me an episode. We will. Haha, look at this thing work though. Look at it work. I don't know if it's going to crash or not. I don't think it will. Anyway, I am going to stop here. Thank you for watching. You take it easy, and I'll see you next time.